Dennis Rodman, famed for being part of the super successful Chicago Bulls team of the mid-90s, and also an official peace ambassador to North Korea, has recently received some good news. The 6-year-old was honored late last year as one of the 75 best players in the league's history. 2022 has started off in a similar way for Rodman's. Stay with us as today we're discussing the great news. First up, let's jump straight into the news then. Rodman's daughter, Trinity Rodman, this week received some exciting news. She's been called up to the first U.S. national women's football team camp of the year. The 19-year-old has already represented the U.S. national women's team at under 17 and under 20 levels, now has received a call up for the seniors for the first time, which she must be delighted about. Rodman Jr. claimed the Rookie of the Year award for her outstanding performances last season, scoring 6 goals in 22 matches, as well as registering 5 assists for her team, Washington Spirit. She was also an integral part of the team's success as they claimed their first trophy at the back end of last year. Rodman provided the assist for Kelly O'Hara's winner in the NWSL Championship. U.S. women's head coach Vlatko Andonovski, whose career mostly saw him play the indoor version of the game, said to Rodman, "She was one of the most exciting players in the league this past season. She's still a young player, but we do want to expose her to the environment where she can get her feet wet a little bit. Get used to my coaching and the players that she's around, and hopefully she can continue growing and show that she was able to do it in the league. She can do that in the international level." It's certainly exciting times for Rodman. Do you think she'll be a success at international level? Let's have a closer look at Trinity Rodman now. Stay tuned. Rodman's first international call-up is the culmination of a lot of hard work, and she joins the squad for the She Believes Cup in February, a friendly tournament involving the USA, Czech Republic, Iceland, and New Zealand in California. But where did it all begin for the younger Rodman? Born May 20th, 2002, she began playing football at 10 years old, joining the SoCal Blues in her native California. The first 5 years of her youth career, she was undefeated, winning 4 national championships in the process. She initially decided to ply her trade at UCLA for the Bruins before changing her mind and deciding to study and play at Washington State for the Cougars. But it wouldn't really work out at Washington State, not for her own want to try, and the COVID pandemic meant she would never make an appearance for the college, but she decided to turn pro anyway, making her professional debut in the 2021 NWSL after being drafted by the Washington Spirit, becoming the youngest ever player drafted in the NWSL. She even scored on her debut and was later named Rookie of the Year, as we mentioned earlier. She appeared at the U17 Women's World Cup back in 2018 and also represented the nation at the 2020 CONCACAF Women's U20 Championship, scoring an incredible 9 goals in the process. What do you make of the youngster's career so far? Next up, we're looking into the genesis of Rodman Sr.'s nickname. Dad, Dennis, had one of the most creative nicknames in NBA history, being christened the Worm. The nickname was actually bestowed upon him by his own mother, who christened the young Rodman after the wiggly insect due to his ability to always seem to gain possession, even in a crowded group of players. Rodman, whose defensive abilities were second to none, was crowned the NBA Defensive Player of the Year twice. His nickname made even more sense towards the end of his career after he led the charts for most rebounds per game for 7 years in a row at one point. Incredible statistics. His legacy, which includes 5 championship rings, also has him down as probably the best rebounding forward in the history of the league. He was so good that the Detroit Pistons retired his number 10 jersey, and the Worm remains one of the greatest characters in the history of the league. What are your favorite memories of Rodman? We're talking the latest NBA news now, starting with Dad's old team. The Chicago Bulls were trounced on Wednesday night, January 12th, as they were on the receiving end of a 138-112 defeat at the hands of the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets had their big three, starting for only the second time this season, and having Harden, Irving, and Durant really made the difference for the New York outfit. Harden had missed the previous game, a defeat in Portland, after injuring his knee prior to the game, and Irving was back after a sprained ankle, but all three turned up on the night to blow the Bulls away. with Durant and Harden particularly putting in big performances, the former notching 27 points, whilst the latter also netted 25 points along with 16 assists, which was, in fact, a season high. Irving, who was only playing his third game of the season after refusing the COVID vaccine, scored 9 points and admittedly looked a little rusty. Having the three superstars in the lineup definitely helped the Nets stop the rot when it comes to games against the Bulls, having lost the previous two. This win moved the Nets closer to their Chicago rivals, who currently sit top in the Eastern Conference, two teams who at the moment are providing the bread in a Miami Heat sandwich, who sit in second, are both looking good as we head into the midpoint of the season, but the Nets take a lot of confidence from this win. Who do you see sitting top of the pile come the end of the season? News of a trade involving the Knicks and the Hawks now stay with us. The Atlanta Hawks, who are not having a great time of it at the moment, sitting in 12th position, have made moves in the transfer market in a bid to secure a protected 2022 draft pick. They traded small forward Cam Reddish to the Knicks for Kevin Knox and the aforementioned first-round 2022 pick. Also a part of the deal was Solomon Hill, who headed north to the Knicks, as well as a 2025 second-round pick. Reddish has been out recently due to an ankle knock, but the Hawks need to act quickly as they head to the in-form Miami Friday. Head coach Nate McMillan said, we're not hitting the panic button. There's a lot of basketball left in this season. We're not hitting the panic button. In an apparent dig at Reddish, he went on to say, you can't have one guy not locked into what you're supposed to be doing out on the floor. Those are the things we're trying to build. That chemistry, that connection defensively, and that connection on the opposite end of the floor. Interesting. The Hawks are attempting to stop the rot, having lost 3 consecutive games in the Eastern Conference and only won 2 in the last 9. It's not looking great in Atlanta right now, and Wednesday night ended in a bit of a debacle after they were hammered at home by the Heat 115-91. It's a far cry from last season's form for the Hawks, who appeared in the conference finals last year. News from Portland now, stay with us. Portland Trailblazers have been hit hard as they have been told they will be without star guard Damian Lillard for the next 4 to 6 weeks. The 6'2" Oakland native is out due to aggravating an injury against the Lakers on New Year's Eve. He underwent surgery at the Vincera Institute in Philadelphia, and hopefully he'll be back better than ever once he does return. Lillard first sustained the injury at the Olympics last summer, but hasn't been in the Portland lineup at all this calendar year. He recently talked about the injury and told fans last year it was pretty bad. Going from that long season, playing a few months without Yusuf Nurkic, and without CJ McMullen, and having to play more minutes. Then coming off a short summer after the bubble season where I was hurt in the bubble going into last year. Then not having a break after last year, just training for the Olympics, going to the Olympics. At the Olympics, it was as bad as it's been. And I was like, man, this is a real issue. There was really no time for me to do it. I decided to rest. Seems as though Lillard put his injury down to being overworked, and he went on to reveal that after he took a month-long break, he instantly felt better, but the issue returned as soon as he went back to work. Get well soon, Damian. As always, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to join us next time for some more fun reveals. Also, why not do us a solid and share our video today with any NBA fan friends you might have. Bye, guys.